Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। Namaste once again to all of you. So, we have completed the understanding what are the qualifications which are required for coming to Vedanta. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is what are the qualifications. We saw that elaborately, we saw those qualifications. And now the real teaching begins. From this second, that as I told you in the last class, first the author of the text takes up the Vyashti Vichara, that is the analysis of the microcosm, analysis of the individual entities in the entire cosmos he takes up. And in that order, the last sentence under Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, the author used the word Tattva Vivekaha Adhikarinaha Bhavanti. Now the student has caught on to that word Tattva Viveka and he is asking the question, Tattva Vivekaha Kaha? So the author answered, which we saw towards the end of the last class, Atma Satyam Tadat Tadanyat Sarvam Mithyeti. This is what he said. Very cryptic statement. And the author has chosen to give this answer because he feels that now the student is ready to receive this knowledge. Because he has gone through this Sadhana Chatushtaya, he has got the necessary qualifications. Okay. So the student wants to know what is this type of knowledge, what is this Tattva Bodha, right? All of us are here for that only. And this is a short statement he says, which he will elaborate it later. And this is the style which is normally used in the Shastras. First, they will, whatever they want to say, the main idea will be stated in one sentence, in a very small cryptic sentence. It is called Sangraha Vakya. Different names are given. Sanshepa Vakya is there, Vigra, and also Sutra Vakyam is another name given to that. Very small statement. And this is the style which is, as I said, used in the Shastras. And in fact, this style is followed even our newscasts and all that. When we see the news, in the I don't know whether now that is happening because I don't see the news. But earlier days, in the 9 o'clock evening, the news will come, and whoever is the news reader, they will first read out the headlines, and then they will say, now the news in detail. So the headlines will all be, very short sentences. What they now call, what is that? Some word they are using, breaking news, something like that. News. So the headlines are very short sentences and then they will go into the detail. And that is very useful because once you hear the headlines, you can decide whether you want to switch off the radio or TV or not, isn't it? Whether you want to go and listen to the details. And that is why even newspapers and all, first they have that heading. You read the heading. If it is not interesting, then go turn the pages. Similarly, Shastra also adopts a similar style. In fact, these people have probably adopted the style from the style of the Shastra only, right? Because Shastras are there from beginningless times. So this Sutra Vakyam, he says, Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mithyeti. These are the three words he is using. Atma, Satyam, Mithya. Very significant, profound words so far as Vedanta is concerned. We need to have a thorough understanding. In fact, the whole of Upanishad, the whole of Vedanta is all about these three words only. Trying to explain these three words. And as we go along, you will find how difficult it is to understand them and also to explain them. But the Shastra succeed in doing it, the Guru succeed in doing it, and people who have understood this very well, all this Satyam, Mithya and Atma, they get attained moksha. They become Mukta Purusha. Okay. So what is this? We will see each of them separately. What is this Atma? According to Vedanta, or Vedantic scriptures, we can say, every mortal, perishable individual has got an inner essence which is immortal, imperishable, immortal and imperishable. It is an inner essence or an inner core every being has got. Whether it is human being or animals or even a mosquito, everything has got an inner core or an inner essence. And that essence is what is called Atma. The problem is that inner essence which is there is not visible to our eyes. Not only our eyes, it is not knowable by any of our sense organs. You can't touch it, you can't smell that inner core or inner essence, you can't see, you can't hear it, you can't taste it. These are the five sense organs we have got. None of them can help us in trying to see or experience that inner core. So it becomes very difficult to understand this word Atma itself. And we know that our ordinary eyes itself, they cannot see many things, right? People like me require these spectacles to see things, especially things which are a little far away. And this Atma being, invisible, immortal, and inner essence of every mortal being can't be understood that easily. And the problem is this word Atma cannot be easily translated in any other language also. And that, becomes a much more problem, because if you want, normally when we want to explain something, we will use some other words to explain this. There is no other word for this word Atma because that is unique. That is only one is there, one Atma in this entire cosmos. So translating it even in English or any other language, it remains Atma only. You can make best translation for Atma is Atma. So what we will do is we will use the word Atma. Whenever I am using the word Atma, what you all will have to remember is Atma means the inner core or inner essence of every individual. And this Atma is invisible and immortal. So four eyes have to come, not these eyes, eye, English eye. Inner essence, inner core, invisible, immortal. The moment we say Atma, this thought should come. Atma means this. This is the definition of Atma. And this Atma is present in all beings. Everything in this cosmos has got this Atma. Okay. Now, second word, Satyam and Mithya. Again, these two words do not have any actual translation. You can translate these words in another language, including English, approximately. And these Satyam and Mithya, they form a sort of a group. So we need to understand this together. Satyam and Mithya, we need to understand it together. They are interconnected, basically. Satyam and Mithya, they are a pair. Okay. So whenever we have these interconnected words, we understand one, then we can understand the other simultaneously. And to understand these words, first let us look at an example. Suppose there is a desk in the room. I have got a desk in front of me. All of you must be having a desk in front of you. Okay. On which you are sitting and maybe seeing this talk on your laptop or your cell phone or anything. Desk, we can all see, we can all experience, touch the desk. We can stand up on the desk. Everything we can do. We can experience the desk, right? It is a solid, tangible desk. That much we can easily say. And it has a specified weight of its own. That also we know. Because some desks are so heavy, we can't lift it rather. That also we know. So when we say desk, we know what we are referring to. We know that desk means this thing which is in front of me, which has got its own weight, on which I have put my books, my laptop, everything. It can hold all these things. And if need be, if I have to clean the fan, I can stand up on the desk and clean the fan. It can take my weight also. So that desk we all know, right? So a desk is a tangible, weighty, visible, supportive thing, object. Now, the beauty is Vedanta says that if you inquire into the reality of this desk, if you try to go into trying to find the real nature of this desk, you will discover that there is no desk at all. It looks very funny, isn't it? There is something in front of us, we are experiencing it, we are using it, but Vedanta saying is that what you are experiencing, what you are seeing and all, it doesn't exist. It is just an illusion that you are seeing. This is what Vedanta says. Now, we can say, oh, Vedanta is just blabbering something. Or if we have Shraddha in the scriptures, naturally we will be curious. Why is it that Vedanta is saying this? What Vedanta wants to say? Is Vedanta trying to tell us that we are all fools? That what is right in front of us doesn't exist? So we need to understand what Vedanta is coming from, what it is trying to say. Vedanta says that, okay, this is a desk in front of you. You say this is a desk. If you actually inquire into the nature of the desk, you will find that This desk is nothing but wood. Wood is the reality, and this desk is an illusion. So some point, something clicks. Yeah, I didn't look at it that way. I can accept this. Actually, since this desk is made of wood, I can say that wood is the basics, the substratum of this desk. The desk is mortal. It may exist now, tomorrow it may break into pieces. But the wood will not go away. Wood will still be there. Whether it is in the form of a desk or whether it is in the form of a pieces, the wood will always be there. So Vedanta says that when you are actually inquiring into the reality of the desk, you understand in your mind that this desk is only what is this illusion I am seeing. The reality of the desk is wood. Similarly, we can say so many examples. What is the reality of the ornaments that we all wear? Ladies, gents, everybody is wearing these days. What is the reality of the ornaments? Reality of the ornaments is gold. Ornaments may change shape. You can take one set of bangles to the goldsmith. He will convert that set of bangles into a chain or earrings. But gold will remain always. In whatever he does, gold will remain. So many examples. I mean, Shastra gives hundreds of examples. The reality is what Atma is. So Shastra, through these examples, wants us to focus on that reality and not be carried away by all the illusory things that we experience. Wave and water. We see waves, small waves, big waves, beautiful waves, fast waves, slow waves. All waves we see. They come, touch the shore and go away and vanish. Mortal. But the content of the waves is what? Water. Water will always be there. The wave will rise in water, be sustained in water, and it will dissolve in water. Similarly, ornaments will rise in gold, be sustained by gold, and they will dissolve in gold also. Gold will always remain. Water will always remain. Wood will always remain. This example Shastra is quoting to make us understand that that which remains permanently is called Satyam. All other things which keep on changing their shapes, their names, their color, everything, which are changing, which are mortal, they are called Mithya. Now the word Mithya has got a meaning false. But Shastra does not use, because there is another word in Shastra, it's called Anritam. Anritam means false. Mithya means that which appears to be real, but which does not have its independent existence. Satyam is that which has got an independent existence. So this is the first point we have to understand. Okay. So now the question is, if these are all non-existent or does not have an independent existence or they are illusions, why do we give these names like desk and ornaments and all that? Why do we actually give them all these names? Because these names have been given by us only, isn't it? So what happens when we give a name, then it becomes confusing whether this is the desk is a desk or a desk is a wood. Wave is wave or wave is water. All these confusions can arise. So why do we invent such new names for a thing, a substance which is there? Vedanta says that this name we give just to identify a name, a form which has been given to the substance. So when we call, say, desk, the carpenter has made a particular shape out of wood. That we call desk. Similarly, if the carpenter has made another shape out of wood, we may call it chair. These are names given by us. So desk, chair, bench, all are names we have given to what? Different shapes which are made out of wood. They are all what Shastra says, Nama Rupatmakam. They have a name and form. Whereas the wood or the gold or the water, they are the original substance. Everything else is Nama Rupa. And these shapes, like desk, chair and all, they depend for their existence on the wood. If there is no wood, there won't be chair or there won't be desk. Of course, you can argue, what about steel? Okay, steel you can take. Instead of wood, you replace it with steel. Example, any example you take, we will come to the same conclusion. Irrespective of, there is a difference between what is a substance and what is the name and form given to that substance. This we must very clearly understand right in the beginning of Vedanta studies. So, this name and form, this Nama Rupatmakam, Nama Rupatmakam given to the substance is what is called, Vedanta calls a Mithya. That is Satyam, substance is Satyam, all shapes and forms given and names given to the modification of that Satyam is called Mithya. This is how we have to understand this name, Mithya and Satyam. So it is a name, desk or water or wave or anything, name form principle. Right? Nama Rupatmakam, as I said. Right? So this is the first important principle we have to remember and understand. Substance is one, the names and forms are many. And the second principle we have to understand is that these names and forms like desk and all that, chair, ornaments, they cannot exist without the substance. They don't have independent existence. It is the substance which gives them existence, or it gives the lends its existence to these things. Substance has got independent existence, and these names and forms which we experience have got dependent existence dependent on the substance. So this is the second principle we have to understand. First was, there is a difference between substance and all other names and forms. All forms of the substance for which we give a name, there is a difference. Second thing is, these forms and names do not have independent existence. They borrow their existence from the substance only. This is the second principle. So, if the desk is destroyed, chair is destroyed and all, the substance wood will always remain. So, In the context of this example, mind you, this is an example I am giving you. You can actually take this example backwards. Wood also is a name and form we are given to what? A tree. Because we got wood as the existence of wood is dependent upon the tree from which it has come. Similarly, you can go on and on and on and on. When you do this analysis, you will finally end up in a substance which you can't see, which you can't experience, and that substance is called Atma. That is what Vedanta says. So when you come to Vedanta, you must have a very, very analytical mind. Don't believe what the Shastra says. Analyze yourself if you are capable. Scientists exactly do the same thing. Science is no different. Science also says what you are experiencing in front of you is not the thing that you are experiencing. You think you are experiencing. We'll come to all that explanation from the scientific point of view later, right? Here, let us focus more on the Vedanta point of view. So, the substance has got independent existence. Non-substantial nama rupam do not have independent existence. So, this is the second. And Vedanta wants to give a namakaranam to this second type of things, right? And that name Vedanta gives is Mithya. So all these things which do not have independent existence, but are existing depending on the substance, they are all called Mithya. This is how we have to understand the word Mithya. So substance is Satya, which lends existence to the Mithya. Right? And in Sanskrit, it is called Paratantra Satta. Paratantra means dependent. Satta means existence. So all these Nama Rupams, these names and forms, have got a Paratantra Satta or dependent existence. Okay. So this is one aspect we have to, remember. So substance is Satyam, Nama Rupam is Mithya. Substance is one, Nama Rupams can be many. Are many, in fact. Why can be? Are many. And Vedanta says that if we know this as a fact, if we understand this fact, all our problems in our life will be solved. Looks very incredible, isn't it? But that is the truth. Because we are totally unaware of all these things. And only when we come to classes like Tattva, Bodha, Bhagavad Gita and all that, we understand what is being said, we start realizing that there are things in this universe about which we have not even thought about it. Nobody has talked to us about it. And we have led all these years, our life, like this, without knowing the truth of this entire cosmos. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita, a beautiful sloka Krishna gives. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontah, tvanayoho tattva darshibihi. He says, Nasato vidyate bhavah, na bhavo vidyate satah. The unreal has no being or existence. And there is no non-being for the real. That means the real does not have non-existence. That which is not real does not have existence. Right? And the truth about these two is known only by the knower of the truth. Tattva darshibihi, he only knows this. A person who has studied Vedanta thoroughly and has assimilated that knowledge, he knows this fact. Everybody else takes all these non-existent things or dependently existent things to be real. And because we are taking that as a real, all our problems come behind. So the first we have to have this viveka, atma, anatma, viveka. So Vedanta also says, or Acharyas have said, the substance, the reality is one which is atma. Everything else you can categorize in one category as anatma. That which is not atma is anatma. So when we talked about viveka in the qualification sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, and we especially talked about viveka or discrimination between atma, anatma, real and illusion, this is what we were talking about. So this atma, which is the only real thing in this entire cosmos, and which unfortunately for us, or maybe fortunately for us, I don't know, is invisible, but we need to just understand that it is, even though invisible, it is a principle, it is immortal, it is the inner core and inner essence of all the beings in this universe. That is the reality of what we experience in this universe. Okay. So Krishna in this scene, he says that this whole universe, in this sloka, he says whole universe consists of only one Satya, one reality. And all the innumerable things that we experience, all are just names and forms of that one Satyam, and therefore they are all Mithya. What happens with people like us? We hold on to the Mithya and lose sight of the Satya. That's what we all do, right? And that is the root cause of all our troubles, all our problems. That is why the author says, Atma Satyam Tad Anyat. Other than that Atma, Sarvam, everything, Mithyeti, is all Mithya. This is exactly in the Sankshepa Vakyam, he has said this. And we are seeing it, the details, news in detail. Okay. So, this Atma, which is the inner essence, inner core, invisible, immortal principle, is the only reality. Everything else is and reality, and it exists independently. Everything else are illusory. They are names and forms, and they have dependent existence on this Atma. That is what is the message being given, right? So, what is Tattva Bodha or self-knowledge we are talking about? It is nothing but trying to understand and assimilate this fact. What fact? Atma Satyam, Anatma Mithya. This fact we have to understand and assimilate. The whole Vedanta is all about a cognitive change. This knowledge you have to acquire only by studying. By doing yogasana and all that, you won't get this knowledge, isn't it? You have to acquire this knowledge from the scriptures through a guru who actually knows this about this, who has himself got this knowledge from his guru. So any amount of activity we do will not give us this knowledge. Any karma we do will not give us this knowledge. Karmas we can do to get chitta shuddhi. Like, Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam is a karma. Giving, charity to people, helping people, poor people, seva to others, guru seva, all are karmas. All they will give is chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi mainly means what? In one sentence you can say chitta shuddhi means it is trying to neutralize your ego. All these things are meant for that purpose only. The more and more your ego gets neutralized, the more and more the purity of your mind increases. Because all the impurities in the mind, which what we talk about, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, all these impurities, what is the root cause? Ego, ahankara. Ahankara and mamakara are the root cause of all these impurities. So when we do all these karmas as a part of our karma yoga sadhana, what happens is this ahankara and mamakara goes on reducing. That is what these karmas do. Jnanam, you have to study cognitively gain that knowledge rather. So that is what this entire Vedanta is about. Vedanta is not about doing any other sadhana. Sadhanas, all that we do is meant for Chitta Shuddhi in the Vedanta context. So in Vedanta, three important aspects are there: Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, which we will deal with in detail later. Shravanam means listening to the words of the Shastra through a guru. Mananam means when you listen to these words of the Shastra, sentences of the Shastra, 1000 doubts will come in your mind, because many of the sentences of the Shastra will not be in alignment with your own understanding of what you had till now. You will have lots of doubts. And another problem is that there are different philosophies. There is a Advaitam, which is what we are studying. Then there is a Visishta Advaitam, there is a Dvaitam. Then there are so many Bheda, so many, five, six different types of philosophies are there. Everybody will say that theirs is the only, real philosophy. Everybody will claim the same thing. We are novices, we don't know who is saying the right thing. So in the Mananam stage, you will have to analyze. In the Shravanam stage, you have now got knowledge of Advaita Vedanta. That once you get this knowledge, gone through Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita study with the Bhashyam of Adi Shankara, that is very important, because we won't understand anything without the Bhashya. So with the Bhashyam, when we study, Shravanam is complete. We have got the knowledge. We know what is Atma, Anatma, everything very clearly we know. But we may have 100 doubts. The Shastras are saying Tattva Masi, means you are that Ishvara. There is no difference between you and Ishvara. Whereas Visishta Advaitins say, no, how can you be Ishvara? That is blasphemy. Ishvara is Ishvara. You are a mortal, small individual being. Maximum you can be a servant to the Ishvara. You can, after death, go to Vaikunta and serve the Ishvara, and over a period of time you can become one with Ishvara. That may be possible. There is nothing called moksha here and all. All these Advaitins are all talking, crap. Not crap. They are not teaching you the right thing. Whenever they say that, they won't refer to the Upanishads, because Upanishads is something out of bound. Moment they touch the Upanishad, their theory will fail. So like this, so many doubts will come. X is saying this, Y is saying this. There is this ISKCON group, they come about and saying so many things. They also talked about consciousness, but Krishna consciousness. They made consciousness, which is actually what we described as Atma now, that imperishable, immortal, inner core, inner essence, is consciousness. But they have given a Nama Rupa to that consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So the moment you give a Nama Rupa, that consciousness becomes Mithya. Consciousness does not have any name or form. Atma does not have any name or form. Atma is Atma. So like this, you will get so many doubts. And for that, the Mananam is the process by which you get all these doubts clarified. And then you apply your own reasoning to what is being said by Advaita Siddhanta, by all other Siddhantas. Come to your own conclusion, which appeals to your intellect. That is the Mananam stage. If you have completely studied everything, including Brahma Sutra, I am telling you. Brahma Sutra is the highest text in Vedanta study. It is like a PhD kind of a thing. You have to study Brahma Sutra also. If not all the sutras, there are 555 sutras, at least few sutras which are very important, you will have to study. And in Brahma Sutra, Bhashyam, Adi Shankara makes analysis, such a detailed analysis. In fact, one sutra you will take 2 months to study if you want to do justice. So much is there. He brings in every philosophy. He discusses every philosophy. Like a Supreme Court lawyer, he actually argues in favor of Advaita is the only message of the Upanishads. Nothing else. Vedanta, all Vedas, when they are ending, the only message they are giving is Aham Brahmasmi and Tattva Masi. If anybody does not accept this, they don't know anything about Vedas. They are going away from the Vedas. This is a very, he deals with it in such a detail in Brahma Sutra. So you have to study Brahma Sutra because that is also, you can call it as a Manana Grantha. So many doubts which you have will all get clarified. So once you have got a doubtless knowledge, you have just reached the second stage of Vedanta. Even when you have this knowledge without any doubt, you will still be suffering from a lot of obstacles because of your past orientation, your past way of thinking. You will not be able to abide in this new knowledge unless you get rid of this past, which is called Viparyaya. All this past, thing, habits and everything. For that, there is a process, Nididhyasanam. So, after Mananam, the knowledge is there at your intellectual level. You have to push that knowledge to your subconscious level. As long as the knowledge is there in your intellectual level and you are convinced about it, your action all will be deliberated. They won't be spontaneous. Once they go into the subconscious level, all your actions will be spontaneous. That is the ultimate aim of the entire journey. Moksha is that stage. When this knowledge has gone into you, into every cell of your body, you can't think of anything else other than this knowledge. You abide in this knowledge. Even when you are in the midst of the entire world, you are actually interacting with the whole world. In your mind, you will be driven by this knowledge. Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mityeti. This is the what? The fundamental aspect of Vedanta. We have to understand. Okay. Now the student has got one more. He has heard this word Atma. I have explained the word Atma. with all examples of wood and all that. Now student is asking the teacher, Atma ka hai? Because the teacher has not told all that. I have told you from what I heard from my gurus. Right? So the student is now asking his teacher, Atma ka hai? So now the teacher is going into starting the elaboration of this. And the way he does is very beautiful. What he is saying, let us see. Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktah Panchakoshatitah San Avastatraya Sakshi Satchidananda Swarupah San Yastishtati Sa Atma. A very beautiful, it's a complete definition of Atma. And he adopts this methodology because Atma word normally or in Sanskrit means the self. The word Atma has got a meaning. I told one meaning from a Vedanta point of view. In simple grammatical Sanskrit, Atma means self. Aham is Atma. Those who know Sanskrit, Aham means me. Aham is called Atma. Now, when we say Aham or me or I, what are we referring to? Just to think, we are referring to our body. We are referring to our mind. That is why we say, I am fat, I am thin, I am Ganapathy, I am a Brahmin, I am a Shudra. All names and forms, which are all mithya, we are taking that to be ourselves. This body mind complex. And this is nothing that it has happened in this birth. This we have been doing it birth after birth after birth. Whenever we had got human birth in the past, this has been our idea of what I am. I am this body, mind, sense complex. That is our understanding till now. And in that understanding is what we all fully abide. In fact, spontaneously we abide in that knowledge that I am body, mind, sense complex. So the Acharya knows that. So that is why he is giving this elaborate answer. What he starts with, Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktah. Vyatiriktah means other than. Removed from. Right? Then second definition he gives, Panchakosha Titah. Kosha means a cover. You can call it a dress. Right? Kosha means a dress. And Vedanta talks about 5 levels of cover. These 3 shariras we talked about, Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira, which was explained in the first part of the answer. The same 3 Shariras are subdivided into 5 covers or 5 koshas by Vedanta. So here he says, this Atma is beyond those 5 koshas also. So it is not Stula Sharira, it is not Sukshma Sharira, it is not Karana Sharira. Then these 5 koshas, I'll just give you the names. We will see all this in detail. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. Vedanta analyzes our body, mind complex into these 5 layers. 5, like an onion, when you peel an onion, 1, 2, like that you go on peeling, right? Like that, Vedanta says that this body-mind complex, which you take yourself to be you, is made of these 5 layers. So Vedanta first analyzes the nature of this Stula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram and Karana Shariram. Then it analyzes all these 5 koshas. What is Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. Second analysis Vedanta does. Then the third one is Avastatraya Sakshi. Avastatraya means what? The 3 states of our experience. Traya means 3. What are those 3 states of our experience? Jagrat Avastha, waking state. Swapna Avastha, dream state. And Sushupti Avastha, deep sleep state. These are the 3 states, right? We can be in one of these 3 states at any given point in time. Either we are in the waking stage, like we are now. Some of us may be in dream state, sitting in the class also, they may be dreaming about so many things. They could be in dream state. And yet a few may be in Sushupti, deep sleep state. This lecture is so boring. Let me have a good sleep. Right? But the same person will not be in all the 3 states at the same time. So, these 3 states of experience also Vedanta analyzes completely thoroughly. And says that this Atma, which I am calling, is actually a witness for all these things. It is a Sakshi. It is not any of this. Then what it is? He says, best way we can describe this Atma is Satchidananda Swarupa. That is the name we can give. If at all we want to give a name. Sat, Chit and Ananda Swarupa. It is of the nature of Sat, pure existence. Chit, pure consciousness. And Ananda, you can translate it either as pure happiness or Anandaha, Anantaha eva Anantaha also says limitlessness. So pure existence, pure consciousness and limitlessness or pure happiness is what this nature of this Atma is. That is what the author is saying here. Yat tishtati sa Atma, the one which can be described like this, that is Atma. You understand, my dear student. This is what he says. So when the student is asking this question, what is Anatma? There is also a hidden question in that, implied question. What is Anatma? Naturally, right? Well, once you know what is Anatma, what is Atma, then automatically everything other than Atma is Anatma. So that is why he is only asking a question, what is Atma? From the answer, he will also understand what is Anatma. And in the answer, the Acharya here takes up the Anatma part first. If you receive, Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatirikta hai. So 3 things he talks about. Then Panchakoshatita hai, 5 things. Then Avastatraya, again 3 things. All these are, the Acharya is saying, are Anatma. So he first explains all those things, right? And Stula Sukshma Shariram, we can easily understand that. Stula Sukshma Karana Shariram, not very easily. Stula Shariram, we can very well understand that it is our physical body. Stula means gross. Gross body is Stula Shariram. Sukshma Shariram is our subtle body. Subtle body is that power which is inside our body, which makes all these functions, all our faculties, digestion process, circulatory process, respiratory process. All these are all called subtle bodies. That also we know that exists. Otherwise, the food we eat, how it get digested, because there is something inside us which is doing it. It is not our hand or legs or they are not doing it. Something else, some other parts inside our body are doing that. Karana Shariram, we will see that later because we don't even understand what Karana Shariram is at this point in time. We'll see that later. Similarly, this Panchakosha Tita, these 5 layers which I explained to you, same approach is done by science also. Biology, for example, right? And in biology also, the body is divided in different parts. For example, even dermatology, you take skin. There will be so many different, layers of the skin they talk about. First is this upper skin, right? What's that? Epidermis, dermis, then bone marrow. So many things, the biology, science also talks about. Similarly, Vedanta also analyzes, but they don't do it in a very fine way like the science does. For the purpose of understanding Atma, we have to understand Anatma. Otherwise, Anatma is what? Mithya. There is no need to understand Anatma. But unless you understand Anatma and understand that Atma is not any of this, you will not understand Atma. That is the problem. Atma can't be described. If I have to tell you pure existence, what will you understand? What do you mean by pure existence? Can you see pure existence? Can you experience pure existence? We go. Consciousness. Can you see consciousness? We can't see consciousness. We can't experience consciousness. It is there, but we can't experience it. We can experience it only through anatmas. So that is why understanding of anatma becomes necessary to understand atma. Okay. So similarly, it's the same process which science follows, which Vedanta also follows rather, in terms of analyzing. And the most important thing in Vedanta starts with this body, mind, sense complex, because the whole problem of misconception happens with the body, mind complex. When I say aham, I am misconceiving this body, mind, sense complex as aham, as atma. So Vedanta says that forget everything else in the world. That is very easy. This is the difficult part. So let me tackle the difficult part first. Right. So this individual, the anatma part of the individual, because we must understand individual, you or me, is a combination of atma and anatma. That much we must be very clear in our mind. The only question is, when today I am saying aham, whether I am referring to my atma or I am referring to the anatma. That is the only problem. And because of that lack of discrimination between atma and anatma, we have all our problems in our life. So that is how the Vedanta divides this anatma of the individual into 3 groups, as I said, Sharira Trayam, Panchakosham and Avastha Trayam. 3 groups, right? They are the part of the human personality. So totally 11 items are there. I said 3 plus 5, 8 plus 3, 11. Okay. And these 11 parts put together is what is called anatma so far as we are concerned. And the author will elaborate each of these, as we go along. And then he will establish that what we say Atma is different from all these 11. Right? And that is the essence of this entire teaching. Once you have understood this, you have understood Vedanta. Once you have understood this, your focus will be only on Atma, which is your real life, and not on the Anatma, which is a Mithya. Okay. So we will see more of it in the next class. will explain this, more detail, elaborately, this answer of the Acharya also. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Dhanyavadaga Raghuji. Dhanyavadaga. Very profound.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you,
Yeah, I
Guruji.
have something to
Thank
ask.
you, Guruji.
Thank you very much.
May I ask something?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Actually, I have been, even while reading and listening to Paramahansa, Swami Paramahansa's Bhagavad Gita and everything, always there is one thing about Atma and Acharya, one thing. You were telling also that when we think about the chair, then we say it is from wood. And then if you go further, it is from a molecule. It is from an atom. It is from subatom. Subatomic particles. Maybe we saw God particles as Stephen Hawking calls it. And I mean, and this particular electrons or these subatomic particles are all over the universe and in everything. It is sarvavyapi. It is immortal. It does exist in everything. And I mean, it is, I don't know whether it is anything parallel to our Vedic Vedas, which has told us much earlier that it is Atma.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that is the fact. Reality, you can approach anything anyway. Reality will remain reality. See, science is now trying to go and try to find what is the reality of this entire cosmos.
Yeah.
They actually have a semi-understanding. They refer to it as a God, and then they want to search for the God particle, and they spend millions of dollars, right? We don't need to do that. You can never search for God particle because that God particle is you.
We are all made of the God particles.
That Brahman which science is trying to search is the very individual who is searching. He is the subject. Science considers all this as an object in searching for it. So that is why science will never ever be able to reach where Vedanta has reached, because science knows only one thing: to research into the object, not research into the subject. And that is why when we say this Atma is the real thing, all this body-mind complex is mithya. The existence we are giving, Atma, I am lending my pure existence to this body-mind complex, so they are appearing to be existent. Otherwise, there is nothing called body-mind. I am the only one, the Atma is the only one prevailing the entire world. So from that point of view, science started, all matter and all that. Then they broke down to matter into atom molecules, atoms, then subatomic particles, wavicles, wave theory. Now they have come to wavicles rather. They don't know whether it is a wave or it is a particle. So they are confused. So one set of scientists say it is wave, another set, and they have also now observed the phenomenon that the behavior of this subatomic particles is depending upon the person who is observing, on the observer. They come up to that.
Right.
But still they can't break that barrier because they are still objectifying it.
Okay.
Aham is not an object. Aham is the subject.
Subject.
That is what we have to understand.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting, and it's actually liberating. I would say not interesting, it is a liberating knowledge rather.
Yeah.
The liberating knowledge.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Very good.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
I have a question, Guruji.
Yes, please.
The way you were saying about the Atma and the Anatma. The Anatma have their existence because of the Atma. Their existence and their the functioning, everything is because of the Atma. And for the Atma to function, Anatma has to be there. Atma by itself cannot do anything.
Yes.
So for,
Yes.
so
We
but,
can know Atma only through Anatma.
Anatma. So when Anatma's role is so important, why is it being kind of, at least that's the impression I get, that it's being categorized as lower than the Atma?
See, it is lower than Atma because the way we will see that later, the way Satyam is defined in Vedanta. Trikale api yat tishtati tat Satyam. That which exists in all three periods of time, past, present, and future. That is Satyam. So it is not a question of inferior or superior. Vedanta talks about three levels of reality.
Then it's fine.
One is absolute reality, another is empirical reality, the third is subjective reality. Subjective reality is what we see in the dream. Our dreams are real. For a dreamer, when he is dreaming, the dream is as real as when he is a waker, the waking world, isn't it? People cry in dream, they will do everything, they will kick in the dream. In fact, dream can be so fearful that because of the dream, people will wake up rather.
Wake up, sweat and everything.
Sweat. They will sing songs or say so many. They may be talking in the dream, but actually that gets transferred to their actually speech. They will be saying so many things. And the wives will be very carefully listening to what all the husband is saying in the dream. Because she will gather a lot of evidence to corner him the next day. I know what you are doing. All these things are dialogue. But even use a mobile phone to record also. So what I'm saying is, Vedanta analyzes these three states of experience. What is called, Paramarthika Satyam, absolute reality. Vyavaharika Satyam, which is experiential, or you can call it empirical reality. And Pratibhasika Satyam, which is purely subjective reality. Subjective reality is one which is experienced only by the person who is experiencing it. I cannot see your dream, you cannot see my dream. Right? So that is subjective reality. But that is also taken as real. It's one part of the reality, one level of reality, the lower level of reality. Then at a higher level of reality is the Vyavaharika Satyam, you can call it, which is the empirical reality which everybody can experience. I will see the same thing which you can also see. All of us are seeing the same, talk now, or hearing the same talk. Empirical reality. But this also Vedanta says is not the ultimate reality. It is only an illusion. That illusion, the reality to that illusion has been actually given, lent by the absolute reality. So once you understand that absolute reality, which is the Atma, Paramartha Satyam, then you will automatically, like when we wake up, what happens? Do we continue to give reality to the dream? Isn't it? We just forget the dream. Even though we might have won some big lottery in the dream, some millions of dollars, when we wake up, do we go searching for that lottery ticket where we have kept? We don't do that. Like, if we do that, we will be actually having a serious mental problem. So, what Vedanta says is that even this which you are taking as real, and then, doing all your transaction considering this entire prapancha as real, is similar to the dream only. When you wake up from this, as Swami Paramatmananda uses the phrase, beautiful phrase, super waker. Dreamer, waker, super waker. Super waker is one who understands what real Atma, absolute reality is. Once you have that knowledge, that awakening, that enlightenment, this entire world also, you will keep it as a lower level of reality. You may actually interact with this world, fully understanding that this is mithya. I don't need to take anything very seriously in this world. Because all of nama rupams, today they are there, tomorrow they will vanish. Then they will change into another form. A table will be broken and made into a chair. A chair will be broken and made into some stool or some teapot. This nama rupa change will always happen, but the wood will never vanish. Once you understand that, you will never cry because the desk has been broken and made into a chair, isn't it? You will not feel sorry about it. So that is how Vedanta leads us to this entire journey of the spiritual journey, makes us understand that all these things you are crying about, all these things that you are feeling sorry about and bringing more miseries and more stress and strain into your life, it's all because of your misunderstanding, misconception about what exactly these are. You treat them with as real for transactional purposes. No problem. Vedanta doesn't say don't do that. It doesn't say dismiss this world, get away from this world, run away to Himalayas. Vedanta doesn't say anything. In fact, the real test of Vedanta is being in this world and being unattached to this world. It is this attachment which is causing us all the problem. Mamakara, ahankara business. So that is how it is taken. It is not that we are dismissing the reality, giving it a lower level of reality, like we give dream a lowest level of reality. That's all. Okay.
Thank you, Guru. Thank you very much. Very nicely explained.
Anyhow, because many aspects, unless you explain it fully, it is not possible to understand rather. Vedanta is such a subject. So your question may be small, but like Atma Kaha, then he gave a two sentence answer. Like that it happens.
Paramarthika Satya, Vyavaharika Satya, and what's the third term?
Pratibhasika Satya.
Pratibhasika, the personal, subjective. Thank you.
3 levels of reality.
Thank you.
Any other question? What? We can close.
No, the next class, I have a question, but I'll ask after you explain the next.
Okay. Fine. Note down your questions if they occur to you. And in this class, we will see. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hari Om, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.